Hey everyone, I'm Linda Loveland. I'm joined by Jake Parker, General Counsel, and this usually means we have some news from the court system, and this is good news, very happy news, and it always happens on a Friday. Happened last Friday, but this this was some good news about general permits.
Yeah, we got a ruling from the North Carolina Supreme Court in our case involving North Carolina's animal waste general permits, and we got a win. The court concluded that our argument was right, and so it was a big day on Friday for all of us.
Yeah, and this is an issue that's been jumping kind of in the courts, going back and forth, and now we finally got this great ruling. So tell us kind of where it stands.
Yeah, the case dates back to 2019, so it's been about 7 years since we've been working on it. The case started with the 2019 version of the general permits that are issued to certain livestock farms that have lagoons for their waste systems. The Division of Water Resources put 3 conditions in the 2019 permit that we had never seen before and that we were concerned about. They dealt with groundwater monitoring in the 100-year floodplain, phosphorus loss assessments on certain fields, and then an annual reporting requirement that required farmers to disclose proprietary information about their farms that then could be put out on the internet for everybody to see. So we had concerns about those, and we challenged them in what's called the Office of Administrative Hearings. That's our administrative trial court, and we prevailed there. Lost at the Wake County Superior Court level, won at the Court of Appeals, and now won at the North Carolina Supreme Court.
And this all came down to rules, really, rulemaking and how that goes.
Yes, the case was about what is the definition of a rule under the North Carolina Administrative Procedure Act, the stuff only lawyers could really enjoy and get excited about. But we argued that those 3 conditions were rules because they regulate the activities that are happening on farms, and they are generally applicable to a large class of farms. So swine farms or dairy farms are some examples. The court agreed with our opinion or our articulation of that law, and you have to take a rule through the rulemaking process. The division did not do that with these 3 conditions, and so that's why we win, because the court said, these are rules, you didn't adopt them as rules, therefore you cannot enforce them.
So we're saying that they sort of took a shortcut, in a sense.
Yes, and the court made clear that agencies can't use a regulatory scheme like a general permit that doesn't go through all the processes that go into rulemaking as a way to get around that process. Because the rulemaking process is hard to get through. Agencies don't like it because it requires them to go through multiple steps, and they have to go through a fiscal analysis and all kinds of things that slow that process down. So they don't want to do that. They would rather just put the thing into law, force you to do it, and then you try to litigate it all the way out. But we got them on the front end.
Yeah, it took a while, but we got it. Good win for you.
Yep, big win for the farmers of the state, and we're really excited about that.
Very nice. Now, there's another case you wanted to mention, too.
Yeah, there was also a case involving the North Carolina University of North Carolina Board of Governors. It's a case called Mitchell v. Board of Governors, and it involved the issue of agency deference. Now, I'm going to take you way down in the weeds here, but the idea behind the agency deference is that when an agency interprets a statute or a regulation, their interpretation controls. So the court really doesn't have a role in deciding what does a statute mean or what does a regulation mean. We think that's not what the law is. Courts are supposed to, if you look back through our history to the old case of Marbury versus Madison, which we studied in, I studied in law school, you probably studied in grade school, but that case holds that courts decide what the law is, not regulatory agencies. So North Carolina's Supreme Court has been, over the last several months, deciding cases that eliminate the idea of agency deference when they're interpreting statutes or when they're interpreting regulations. The Mitchell case dealt with the regulations piece of it, and so agency deference is dead in North Carolina, which is a really good thing, we think, for us. Now, it puts us on a level playing field with everybody. So the environmental groups and some animal rights groups that we frequently have issues with in the courts, they're going to argue that agency deference will also not apply in cases where they're challenging government action. But again, it puts everybody on the same playing field. There's not a thumb on the scale, or so to speak. So we thought that was a big win. And we filed a friend of the court brief in that case as well. That's why I wanted to mention it. So our legal foundation is involved in lots of different cases.
You guys are all over the place. So 2 wins, though, because a lot of these things you've been waiting on for a while to kind of come to fruition.
It's been a long time since we've done one of these. We got more cases in the pipeline, but we'll talk about those as they move along too.
All right. Well, thanks for fighting for our farmers.
Absolutely, every day.